Anyway, I guess it's just the two of us. Since Amaka already has a suitor, my cousin in the city told me about this new way people meet to find love these days, including getting married. She said all they do is go to one hut in the city, holding a balloon, and just like that, you'll find a husband. Uche was a young, beautiful lady in her late 20s. She lives alone with her grandmother, Mama Nuku, in a small community called Ofia. Mama Nuku trained and raised Uche with so much good morals. But Uche was always worried because at her age, men were not coming or showing any interest in her. She envies the other girls in her age grade that was already married, dating, or even engaged, and it would make her wonder if she wasn't pretty enough to be beholden or desired by a man. One day, Uche was sitting outside under the gentle breeze of the moon, humming a song to herself, and her grandmother came out from their hut and sat close to her. "You are doing it again, Uche," said Mama. "Doing what again, Mama?" asked Uche. "Worrying again because your mates are getting married and you haven't. You are thinking about it again, Uche. Well, you are my mother and I can't hide my feelings and thoughts away from you. But mother, very soon I will be in my 30s and still single. Why? Am I not attractive enough?" Uche asked. Mama pulled a bead from her wrist and gave it to Uche, saying, "This blue bead was given to me by my mother, who got it from her mother and mother's mother. Wear it with pride and let the will of the gods be done. Your time will come. Just a little patience, my child." "Okay, Mama. Thank you." Uche wore the beads on her ankle as Mama stood up and returned back to the hut. Few days later, Uche went to fetch firewood with her childhood friends, Amaka and Oye. "Come with me to the city," Oye said. "Let's go to the city and find our own love." "You and who? And which love?" "Well, maybe you are referring to Uche," Amaka replied. "And what do you mean by that? Are you forgetting I already have a man?" Oye and Uche burst into laughter. "Which man?" Oye asked. "You mean Udoka, the village drunk?" They both continued laughing. Amaka added, "It's not a crime to drink, and I know that he will stop drinking when we get married." Uche turns to Onye, saying, "Please leave this one alone. Tell me more about this love thing again. I want to finally have my own man." Uche said. "Me too," Onye replied. "Anyway, I guess it's just the two of us. Since Amaka already has a suitor, my cousin in the city told me about this new way people meet to find love these days, including getting married. She said all they do is to go to one hut in the city, holding a balloon. Just like that, you'll find a husband. And when are we leaving?" Amaka asked. The two girls looked at her and burst into laughter. "I thought you said you had a man. Please leave that one," as they all laughed and continued their journey. A few days later, Uche, thinking her grandmother would advise her against going to the city, she decided to lie to her. Instead, her grandmother, who was picking beans on a flat tray outside the hut, saw Uche coming out from their hut. "Mama, I'm done with the chores, oh. All our water kegs are filled and there is enough firewood at the back of the hut that will last us for a week. I'm going to the farm to help Amaka and Oye. I might not return on time until maybe after sundown. Uche said, and Mama replied, Okay, you girls should be careful and don't overwork yourself like a man. Okay? Okay, Mama. Bye. And she left holding a digger and a sack. That day, Uche, Oye, and Amaka left for the city. After a long hour drive, they finally arrived at a destination with Oye's cousin waiting for them at the other side of the road with a very old car parked at the side. The girls came down from the bus and crossed to the other end of the road, hugging her cousin. Oye said, Thank you so much, Munachi. We can't wait to be there and find love. Munachi, Oye's cousin, replied, Me too. I'm going. But the thing is, the three of you have to change into something nice because you can't be on that show dressed like this. I brought clothes. Let's change inside the car. And they all agreed. Few hours later, at their destination, the girls were seen standing at a straight line with other girls holding red balloons and looking beautiful. The show presenter introduced the show with a big smile on her face. Welcome to the Pick Me Show! Pop the Balloon edition. Ladies, are you ready to meet your prince? They all gave chorus answers. Yes, the host continued. My name is Mary. You are watching the Pick Me Show. As you can see, our ladies are ready to meet their match. So, let the show begin. The rule is as follows. Pop the balloon if you are not feeling any connection with the man that walks in. But if there's anyone you think you like, then don't pop your balloon. The host called out the first man. Single man, please come in. And a guy walked in, looking so handsome, with no shirt on, and none of the girls popped their balloons. The host, smiling as she continued, Please introduce yourself, sir. My name is Samson. I'm 31 years old from Aba. I'm a crypto trader and a car dealer. And the host continued, What type of girl are you looking for, sir? The host asked. Samson, looking at the girls with seduction written all over his face, biting his lip, he pointed to Uchi, saying, I want a girl like her. In fact, I want her. The host laughed and called out to Uche, Please, ma, can you please step out and tell us your name and age and where you're from? Uche did, feeling shy and lost. My name is Uche. I'm from Ofia community. I'm 28 years old and a farmer. The host continued, Mr. Samson here chose you over the other ladies. Is it a yes to dating, to get to know him, or a no and wait for other guys? Do you like him? With a big smile on Uche's face, she replied, Yes, we have a match. Everyone clapping and yelling and screaming at the top of their voice, cheering the couple as Uche excused herself. Please, can I whisper to my friend over there, pointing to Oyin? And the host replied, Yes, you can. Uche rushed to Oyin and whispered to her ear, then walked out with Samson as everyone cheered for them. On getting outside, it was almost nightfall and she was shocked and worried about her grandmother. but didn't know how to tell Samson that she has to return back to her village. Samson turned to her and said, "Please, join me in my car. Let's talk." And Uchi gladly accepted and entered the car. Whilst they were talking, Samson brought out a face mask and covered his nose. "Is everything okay?" Uche asked. Samson nodded his head. From nowhere, he sprayed something on Uche's face and she fainted at once without any struggle. Then he drove off. After a long drive into the dead of the night in a very thick, dark bush, he dragged her down, made sure no one was around or looking. Then he started cutting and taking her body parts. Back at the event center, Oye and Amaka wasn't lucky, so they didn't get a match. But Munachi, Onye's cousin, got a match and was waiting to take the girls back to the park so that they can be on their way back to the village. And it was already nightfall. The girls came outside, looking confused. "Where is Uche?" Amaka asked. "I don't know. And she is supposed to be here," Onye replied. "What do you mean by she is supposed to be here?" Amaka asked. "She whispered to me before she left with her match that she was going to be waiting for us outside now," said Onye. "What do we do now?" she asked. "I don't know," Onye replied. "It's already nightfall. We have to go back to the village before they start thinking we are missing. Maybe she went home with her match and will return to the village herself tomorrow. If not, then we'll have to report it to her grandmother." They all gathered and left. The next day, Oyi and Amaka decided to go and check if Uche was back with her grandmother. And they met Mama Nuku, Uche's grandmother, sitting outside, covering her body with a wrapper, crying. "Good morning, Mama," greeted the girls, and Mama Nuku didn't reply. "Mama, why are you crying this early morning? Is everything alright?" Amaka asked, but Mama still didn't respond. With the girls looking at themselves with so much guilt. "Mama, is Uche inside?" Uyi asked, and Mama turned to them. Taking a deep breath, she called out their name. "Uyi and Amaka." "Ma," they replied. "Where is your friend Uchi, my daughter?" Mama asked, crying. "I am cold. My body hurts. And the environment looks odd to me. It's not because I'm old, but because Uche has left me here alone, all by myself." Mama continued crying. The girls started crying too, as Oyi added, "Mama, we are here. You are not alone," Oyi said. Mama replied, wiping her eyes and nose. "Go home to your parents. I will be here, waiting till she returns. Please go." The girls left. Many weeks later, and Mama dreamt, seeing Uche kneeling down before a big scary creature with horns. The creature carried Uche and threw her into the fire, and Mama woke up, looking scared. "Uchechi, where are you? What have you done, my daughter?" said Mama, as she wrapped her hands between her legs and tears rolling down her cheek. Back in the city, a beautiful lady dressed in so much bead went for the picnic show with 5 single men seen standing at a straight line, holding red balloons and smiling. The show presenter Mary introduced the show with a big smile on her face. And then the host went ahead and called out the first lady. Single lady, please come in. And the bearded lady walked in, attracting all the men, as none of them popped their balloons. The host continued, please introduce yourself, ma, she said. My name is Uchechi. I'm 28 years old and I'm here to find love. I just need one person to step out and follow me home. Four guys immediately popped their balloons, leaving one guy who stepped out and said, I will follow you. The host was shocked. Clearing her throat, she said, please step out, sir. Everyone, please put your hands together for them. And everyone clapped. Sir, you volunteered to go home with her. Can you tell us why? And what is it you like about her? The host said, my name is Richard, and I just want to go home with her. The air in the room felt cold, and Mary needed to let them go. Okay, sir. Moving a bit further, continued. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a match. Everyone clapped as they both made their way out. The bearded lady Uchi was walking like she was being chased. Without looking back, with so much speed, Richard was running to meet up with her. Finally, they both walked into the bush and arrived at a tree with a rope resting on the body of the tree. The bearded lady took the rope and gave it to Richard. Tie this rope on your neck, then climb this tree and hang yourself. Let's go home. Richard, walking like he has been hypnotized, climbed the tree with the rope round his neck. He tied the other end to the tree and jumped down, snapping his neck. The bearded lady stood still and watching him stretch with no expression on her face. Back at the village, Mama Nuku has moved on but hasn't totally forgotten her grandchild Uche. But she decided to forgive Onye and Amaka, who would go to her hut and help her every day with chores. Few months later, a lot of guys had lost their life mysteriously, and the news has started going around. Aside from that, it has also had a pattern, and people have started talking. What is going on, guys? Asked Mary, the pickup show presenter, addressing her team. Haven't you guys noticed a pattern about how these guys lose their lives? Mary asked. Yes, Mao, replied her cameraman. And haven't any of you seen the guys before? They are all from our show. It is a lie, said Mary as she ran to get her laptop and phone, comparing the dead guys to the guys that had attended her show. And she screamed, it is true, oh. I only noticed there was a pattern because they all seem to always die in one particular bush under a particular tree. I never knew they had all attended our show, said Mary, and always living with these mysterious ladies. Guys, what do we do before the police trace it back to us? The cameraman asked. Don't worry yourself. I know what to do. And mind you, we are not doing any show for now. I will update you when I am ready, said Mary. The next day, Mary went to see a lady putting on a white wrapper and a mask on her face, sitting in a shrine. She saw Mary and welcomed her. My daughter, how are you? And what brings you here? Asked the priestess. Mary sat on the mat with her leg crossed. She replied, Mama, I'm not okay. I'm not fine at all. I think someone is trying to get me arrested for murder. The priestess laughed. Nobody is trying to get you arrested, my child. She is only on a mission. Who, Mama? Asked Mary. Are those bearded ladies the killers? To you, they are different ladies, but spiritually, it is the same person turning into different ladies. Her name is indeed Uchechi. She is the granddaughter of a widow in Ofia community. She was killed many months ago, the same day she came to the city, said the priestess. How did we then now get involved? Mary asked. She came to your show for love, but ended up having her parts removed for money rituals. Mary screamed, closing her mouth with both hands, looking shocked. She is the same bearded lady you see every time on your show, just that she always appears with different face, said the priestess. That means she's avenging her death, Mary said. No, replied the priestess. She is not on that path. The man that sniffed out life from her still lives. She is on a different path. She made a deal with a dark master, her soul in exchange for the soul of others. That means she pleaded to return back to the land of the living in exchange for the souls of others. Mary added, yes, you are right. Her victims are the same gender that sniffed out life from her, said the priestess. So, what do we do, Mama? We can't leave her to keep sniffing life from innocent men. The police, if looked closely, will soon trace them to me and my team because my show is always the last place they visit before their demise. What do I do, Mama? Mary asked. Go to her village and find her grandmother. The moment they set eyes on each other, the bearded lady will take her true God given form because she has a special mark on her face from birth and a protective bead around her ankle. If they can both set eye on each other, the oath keeping her here from the dark master will be broken and she will automatically find peace and rest. Mary went back to her studio to search for any lady that had attended her show bearing the name Uchi, and she was able to find 3 videos. She sent out her crew and they all finally came down to one uchechi. It's her. I can feel it. We have to find a way to reach her grandmother and we leave in 2 days. Back in the village, Mama was picking palm nuts under a mango tree on a tray with Onyi sitting next to her and picking beans. Mama stopped for a moment and took a deep breath. Looking at the sky, shaking her head, she turned to Onyi saying, I think something is wrong with Uchechi. I feel she is in trouble, said Mama, and Onyi turned to her. It's been 8 months, Mama, and you keep saying the same thing about Uchechi and the constant dream you keep having. Mama, Uche is fine, and I'm sure one day she will return back to us. We just have to be patient, said Onyi. A day later, and Mary was able to find her way to Mama Nuku, who also sent for Amaka and Onyi to come and speak for her. Please, who are you people? My name is Mary. I'm the host from Pick Me Show to Find Love. Amaka jumped up at the top of her voice with excitement, screaming, eh, I knew it. Your face looked familiar. Is Uchechi married? Are you here to take Mama to her? asked Amaka. And Mama stood up when she heard Mary might know the whereabouts of Uchi. Sit down, Mama. We have a lot to talk about, Mary said. Mama sat, looking at the expression on everyone. She asked, "Why are you crying? What's wrong, my child? Is Uchechi okay?" Mary finally summoned the courage to speak. "Mama, Uche is not fine," with Mary crying and shaking because the words were too heavy for her. But she continued. Um, she came to my show to find love. And what when you cut in? Because we have already told Mama before that we came to your show and that Uchechi was lucky enough to find someone. But ever since that day, she never came back home. It's been 8 months. Please speak up and stop making us wait for nothing." Mary continued. "She never returned because he killed her." Oyi and Amaka screamed, holding themselves, with Mama, who was already crying. "So why are you here?" Mama asked. Mary continued. "She needs your help, Ma, so that she can rest. She made a deal with a dark spirit to return here in exchange for the souls of the innocent, Mama. She has taken the breath of a lot of innocent people. I went to see my godmother, a priestess, and she said that Uche can only rest when she sees you." "I knew she was in trouble," Mama said. A week later, Mary organized another pickup show, but this time it was with 4 men that were part of the crew. The plan was to drag Uche to show as no one knew where she comes from or where she goes to. As usual, she came to the show looking beautifully beaded and different. Mary, the host, continued without introducing the show, called her in. "Single lady, please come in." And the bearded lady walked in, only to see her grandmother standing with 4 other men. She immediately showed her real face, with her beautiful birthmark resting on one of her cheeks, and everyone ran, leaving Mary and Mama alone in the room with Uche standing still like a spell was cast on her, staring only at her grandmother. Mama Nuku walked close to her and stood in front of her, saying, "Uchechi, my beautiful daughter, I have missed you." So you left without saying anything, without saying goodbye, just like that. But it's fine. I'm not sad anymore, and I'm no longer crying because your friends Amaka and Onyi has taught me to be strong. They come every day to help me, and they miss you too. Just that you almost broke my heart. Why will you take the life of innocent people that was not involved in what happened to you? I raised you well. This is not my uchechi. You need to rest now, my child. Don't worry, we will avenge for you. Just take us to where he buried you." Uchechi turned, walking as though counting her steps, no longer that beautiful bearded lady. She now looks pale and stiff as she continued to count her footsteps. They finally got to the same tree where she takes her victims to, then turned to her grandmother, who said, "So this is where he buried you. It is well, my child. Go home, go and rest. I am fine, knowing now that you will have peace." Just like that, Uchechi faded into the light. They involved the police and framed Samson to accept his crime by pretending there was a witness in this night of the incident, he got arrested and later took his own life in jail 2 days after he was arrested. Hello, my beautiful viewers. I hope you enjoyed and liked this video. Be careful and stay safe out there. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this video to your loved ones, and see you next time with an amazing story.